Hello everyone. Let's wait for 2 more minutes to let folks join. Then we'll start. So I think we should start.
Sounds good.
Oh, yep. Thanks for confirming. Yep. So welcome everyone to Layer 5's website call. Today is Monday. So my name is Gaurav Chadda. Usually this call is hosted by Devopriya. So she's having an exam today. So I'll be hosting this call. So I have shared the link of meeting minutes. So you all can write your names in meeting minutes. So we have a tradition to introduce. Is my voice echoing? Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So we have a tradition to introduce newcomers on every call. So if you are one, I can see two of them. So yep, you all can introduce. So
Hello.
yeah, hi Cedric.
Hi. Thanks for having me. My name is Cedric. I'm a web developer at AfricanNerd. I joined Layer 5 last year, but I've not really been active. I keep getting the meeting minutes, and then today, fortunately, I was chanced to get in. So I said, well, let me join in, and then maybe get to know you guys better, what you're up to currently.
Yep. Thank you. Yep. Nice to have you back, Cedric. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was unmuted. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yep, you're audible.
Yeah, I'm Osnachi. I joined Layer 5 last week. I was hoping to get serious with open source this month of May. So I joined Layer 5 to see what projects I can contribute to and possibly make some contributions.
Awesome. Nice. It's Osanachi.
Yeah. But you can shorten it. Yeah, Osinachi. You can shorten it to OC.
Okay. Oh, that's very kind of you. OC in the house. All right. Okay. That's easier. That's a bit, could be, Osanachi in the house. It's just a little, the OC kind of rolls off a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much, OC. It was a good introduction. So moving on to the topics for layer5.io, we have BJ. So I think he's not on the call. So this topic is about CTA for mesh map beta. And let me open this. So this one is probably about the enhancement of the mesh map data form, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, so for Cedric might have seen this in the past, but for OC and for others on the call, there's different ways to contribute. There's a lot of different ways to contribute. One of those, in this example, it's a little bit of a visual design. So there are like 5 or 6 or so different websites that that the community maintains. There's also a couple of a couple of web apps, so websites and web apps. And this particular effort is to create what's more or less an advertisement, like a banner. Sometimes, a lot of times we will refer to it as a call to action. So for visitors of the layer5.io website, there are, you browse different pages, and in different sections, sometimes it will say, join the community, sign up here, subscribe to the newsletter, check out the, just those small little banners. And the community has been working toward a new capability that I think, hey, Yash, have you gotten a chance to try out the Docker extension by chance? Or do you have access to it at least?
But I will look to try it out.
Okay, I think I couldn't really hear you, but I think you said you haven't gotten a chance to try it out, but you do have access.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to try it out. I will love to. I will look into it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no sweat. I just wanted to make sure you that you could if you had time. And so a different upcoming capability that the community has worked on is called Mesh Map, and we need to let people know about it. So a banner needs to be created, and BJ decided to pick up that issue, and he's working toward creating a visual banner. His looks fairly similar to some of the other banners used on the site. It might be in a place where it works. Like it might, the last mock-up that he has might work. It's not the best of pictures. I mean, yeah, anyway, his design might work. So I should probably, I'll tell him that. I'll leave him some notes. He's getting close.
Yep.
So the last call out is under mesh map. layer5.io/mesh map.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the last one that was created. Yeah, if you end up, Gaurav, if you visit the mesh map page, which is layer5.io/mesh map. The most recently approved and released call to action. I thought it was here. Maybe if you visit the Meshery page, it's sitting there. At the bottom, or I'm sorry, the Meshery page on layer 5IO.
It is projects, unfortunately.
This looks good.
Yeah, that one's not too bad. So there's an example of one that had recently been created. Yep, there's a couple, actually Osinachi or Cedric, so this website's built on Gatsby. I think there's an open issue to add these call to actions, add these banners to one or more of the pages. So the call to action is already. Yeah, OC, say it again.
No, I wasn't the one that spoke.
Oh, okay. But the call to action that's on the page that Gaurav was just on, I forget, I think it's the Docker extension page. At the bottom, it says, hey, it says learn service mesh, and here's interactive labs. And that's a good call to action, except we want to switch it with the one for mesh map. Okay. Because we're going to push a lot of people to that. I know it's confusing right now because it's like, wait a second, what page was he on? Docker extension, Docker what? And then mesh map what? But anyway, there's an open issue that says, let's swap these out, because that's kind of an older one. And it's fine, it's a good one, but we have something new that we want to put in front of people, and we're going to be driving a lot of people to this page. So we want to do a switch. So hopefully it's evident in the GitHub issue that describes it, but it's kind of a nice issue to start with, because it's a relatively straightforward switch.
Yeah, totally understand. Well, okay, I was looking at contributing to, let's say, more of the cloud native stuff.
Yeah,
because I'm trying to move away from front end and move towards cloud native. Although I don't know Golang. I'm only familiar with Python and a bit of Docker, YAML.
Yeah, sure. There's this is probably good for everybody else to hear as well. One of the good ways to get in there is being a power user. Is like, if you go run Meshery as a project, that means that you're running Docker, you're running Kubernetes, you end up running one or more service meshes, as well as Meshery itself. And that unto its own it's actually kind of a lot. You end up occasionally bumping into a bug, which you might then turn around and work on. Even if you don't, one of the areas of open need is that of automated testing. So if there's a lot of features that Meshery has, the way that we do automated testing is in a programmatic way, obviously, but getting in there and helping write some automated tests has a big impact on the project, because it's really difficult for us to make new releases if we are not confident that Meshery is doing what it's supposed to do, if we don't have automated testing to cover those things. The automated tests will force you to learn a fair bit of DevOps, a fair bit of GitHub workflows, Kubernetes, some networking, there's a lot in there. Anyway, it's an area of open need, and it's kind of a smooth on-ramp to then writing some Go at some point, or wherever it takes you. But I'll drop a link. I'll drop a couple of links in case that's of interest as a way of getting in.
So, thanks.
Yep. So we should move to next topic is by Mukul. I think he's not on the call. So let's visit his PR if any open issues need to be addressed. So the issue was about submission button was not visible on the contact form. So he made a PR for that.
To add on to that, I think based on the PR now we are trying to use Integromat for submitting the contact form as well. So, Lee, are we using the same scenario or a new scenario has to be created for it?
I think there's only one scenario at the moment that. Oh, okay, yeah. There's one scenario currently that processes the sign up forms, and so yeah, you're right, Nikhil, that there's a missing workflow scenario for this. If it can fit into the existing one, that's probably ideal because it's just less accounts and less scenarios to deal with.
Right.
Um,
That's correct, but because the data which we are taking from the newcomers form is much more compared to what we are taking the contact. So I
No problem. Yeah.
doubt that might be the case, but probably we could just create another scenario in one of the existing accounts that we have.
Sure.
No need to create another account for that.
Sounds good. Yeah, they only let us go up to 2. And I think the mesh map integration account only has 1 at the moment.
Yeah. Yes. I guess almost all of them has only one because based on the number of we have that limitation on the number of calls we can do. That's the reason almost all of them has only one scenario.
Okay. Yeah, it's been okay. I'll make you a bet that they have 2. but yeah, it would be nice if they don't. Yeah. And I get what you're saying about, well, like, gosh, it's going to be if the data inside is so much different, it's going to be kind of a funky, it's going to be as much work trying to reuse the same scenario as it would just to have a separate scenario, even if that scenario meant that we would have another account. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. So if we need a new scenario, that's okay. And hopefully most of the accounts only have 1 scenario already.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, okay, I will try and see if I could create another scenario and update the same, the hook for the same to Mukul so that he uses that.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, I was on mute. Yep. So let's move to next topic is by Leonard. So is he on the call? Nope, he's not. So he added a search feature to the blogs page. Let's visit this PR also. So Yash, you provided some feedback. So were these addressed?
So as of now, there is few of the issues which are yet to be addressed, which is the last 3 points, which is mentioned. Fourth or fifth last count. No, just about that. Yeah, paging is not working, and these 3 are yet to be addressed before we could still consider the PR to be missed.
Oh,
because
okay.
these are some basic requirements that on searching the paging is not working. So that might be a bad user experience. So once these three are addressed, we could merge the PR, and if further requirement enhancements are required, we could cover on that with new PRs. So I'm waiting for an update from him. So once those are done, I think this PR is good to go.
Okay. Thank you, Nikhil.
Yeah.
So let's move to next item. Add validation tests to at least one in the field accounts to connect in the connect section. So let's visit this pull request. Yep. So the issue is about adding a field to the mesh map beta form, which is this one, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it was to make sure that one or more of the users' handles for their social accounts was required. And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we'll give a brief review on the PR. Okay, since he's not on the call, let's move to next topic is of Subedi by replacing a screenshot of chart with an actual chart using billboardjs on the SMP spec dashboard. So yep, this is a hot topic that has been going on for enhancing and making a new dashboard for SMP spec, this one. So should we discuss this or not, because Subedi is not on the call, or if anyone would like to help him out with this one?
Yeah, if nobody else is, like, I probably will. It's important enough that we're going to be talking about it at Service Mesh Con at KubeCon. So it's going to go into a recording today, actually. And so it's nice that it's at least interactive. Actually, I think a number of the links break. Like if you click on burst or soak on the left-hand side, I think those will take you to a 404, which, yikes. I was talking to a director at Intel, and we were going over this, and I clicked on one of those. I'm like, oh, never mind. Look away, avert your eyes. You didn't see a 404. Apparently the Jedi mind trick doesn't go across Zooms, because I think she remembered it. I was like, there is no 404. You do not see. Come on, there's no other Star Wars nerds on the phone. Is that?
Yeah, Star Wars fans.
Okay, good.
Okay, so let's move to next one. So let's see the topics of Meshery.io. So enhanced newsletter section is a PR by Ardent. Okay, so he's enhancing this community newsletter. I think the UI. Vijay provided some new UI changes. So, like, what are we planning for this? A new UI kind of thing, or just changing in colors or format?
Yeah, I think it's just changing of the colors and format. I think someone else, maybe other than me, had suggested that what it looks like currently isn't so hot. If you, the last screenshot I saw on this, I thought it was good. If you were to just take a quick look at the last preview link, and when that deploy preview pulls up. I think the link, while there is one down there, actually, yeah, I guess you may as well go to the build and check. Yeah, I think that one stays the same, and I think it gets updated. As you open that, if you scroll to the very bottom, it should look pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's, you know, like, if you make it responsive for a moment, if you were to adjust the width of your page, I think they took care of those issues as well. Okay, nice. And then, yeah, if you look at the new one or the current one, I believe that the change is really around the background color of the community mailing list. I think if I recall, it has a dotted outline border with black text. So like it's, yeah, it looks better this way, you know, like, for a few different reasons.
Yep, this one looks much enhanced.
Seems like it's good to go.
Okay, there's one review need to be addressed. So yep. Yep. Okay, so let's move to next item is ask for volunteers for adding multiple filters. So, okay. So in current catalog, we have patterns and filters of different categories. So this issue is about having moving radio buttons to checkbox, making some different UI changes and implementing this one. So I guess, so is anyone up to take this issue? Probably Yash or Rohit.
So is that WebAssembly? Are the WebAssembly projects still active?
Sorry, I didn't heard you.
Yeah, I said, are the WebAssembly projects still active?
Are you talking about the SSMP
sure.
project?
Yeah, the WebAssembly projects, yep, for sure, they're still
okay,
active. As a matter of fact, we're considering integrating with another project potentially. The project is called Merbridge. I'll put a link. I'll put a Merbridge. Yeah, depending. Yeah, and so not only do we need additional filters are needed. Better integration of the filters into Meshery UI. Meshery UI will let you deploy a filter, and delete a filter, and load a filter. Like load a filter into Meshery, deploy a filter to a service mesh, remove a filter from Meshery. I don't know if we have an undeploy filter. So that could be an open item. We also, there's enhancements to go on in the way in which Meshery handles filters. That needs to be done. I mean, yeah, if that's an area of interest, again, actually, it's kind of funny. I recommend the same thing. I recommend being a user, like go and take Meshery, try to take a filter, load it up, deploy it, and from there you'll have a good understanding as to where the system is at and how it behaves. And it might be that all you want to do is write a filter, and that makes sense that you wouldn't necessarily have to understand how Meshery behaves, but it's the right starting point anyway. They give you good context.
Highly. Is this
Yeah,
purely front-end based? Is it purely front-end based?
Which the WebAssembly stuff or?
The issue you just mentioned concerning the filters.
Yeah. So yeah, so the one that I was referring to about WebAssembly is, well, it's like all of the above actually. It just depends on where you come to bear on the project. So one of the open areas of need is it's at meshery.io/catalog, and it's a front end need. It's this catalog here. There are enhancements that would ideally be done. Things like, I mean, some of this is written up, but you can only choose, it's radio buttons underneath right now. And that's not ideal. Like you might want to look at things that are compatible with both Kuma and console. Like instead of radio buttons, check boxes. And it sounds easy on the surface. It gets a little more complex as you look at the JavaScript behind it. Anyway, so there's front end centric needs on WebAssembly. There's front end needs in Meshery UI for managing WebAssembly filters better than we do. There's back end needs in like creating filters themselves. There's back end needs in updating how Meshery manages the filters. So that last thing I just said would be Golang. If you were to write a filter, it could be C++, Golang, or potentially another language. If you were to work on the front end of Meshery catalog, it's JavaScript. Jekyll is the framework that we're using here. So yeah, it's kind of all around.
Thanks a lot. I'll take a look at it. But to be honest, I've never worked on anything WebAssembly. Mostly React though.
Yeah, got you. Yeah. So of the WebAssembly so it's a little bit different in that the WebAssembly that we refer to here is the apps that run inside of WebAssembly are network functions. So they are not apps that people might interface with. These do not run in your web browser. While you can write WebAssembly apps that are targeted toward your browser, these aren't. These are targeted toward a service mesh. So these run inside of network-based proxies in the service mesh data plane. It's a lot, because I just said a lot of junk that I don't know that everybody understood. I just said network-based proxies inside of a network service mesh data plane. What the hell did I just say? I expect what some people just are thinking. And anyway, don't let that discourage you at all. I'll explain it all to you. But anyway, I just thought I'd offer up quick clarification that you can write a WebAssembly program targeted toward different platforms and different environments. And it's probably the case that most of us, when we think of WebAssembly apps, think of them as running inside of a browser, and these don't. These run inside of Envoy as a service proxy. So
okay, thanks very much. Give some context.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee. So I'll also share a link for the Wasm repo, so you can have a look and read the README for more knowledge for Wasm filters, WebAssembly filters. So moving on to next item we have is again a call for volunteer for adding a similar animation for eBPF programs and OPA policies on catalogs page. So currently we don't have them do no.
Yeah, so there's an eBPF B, kind of a cute B that people could work on.
Yep. So moving on to the next topic, I guess is this the one last one. So Yash has been continuously pushing through and moving towards Meshery UI refactoring. So which uses MUI 5 and Redux as a state management tool. So Yash, would you like to give an update on that?
Um, Currently, the branch was deleted, so I updated all the components which were missing. Some of them are not merged, but looking forward to it. But then I started working on the lifestyle page of Meshery UI. Thought it would be simple, but it wasn't. The it's not in this tracker. I will add it as soon as possible. Right now. So I'm looking into it. Meshery is a big project. Meshery is a big project, so it's really hard to understand. So still looking into it. Little help would be great. I asked for some help. Nothing much done by me.
Yeah. Nitish, one of the driving forces behind this, it is the end of this week that he'll be back in full force. So that'll be helpful. One of the things that's helping this advance this a little bit, Yash, is the Docker extension for Meshery, the small UI that's used inside of the extension. It is MUI 5 and React 17, which further pulls Meshery UI, further tugs on it to go forward. Meshery Cloud has a nascent UI. It too, it's being rewritten as well, and it's being rewritten with MUI 5 and React 17. So, and it's being done under the same Meshery theme. So it also helps pull this along. So I mentioned that to say that this is not a dead project at all, or like that. Yeah, it is an inevitability that we will move forward. More people will come to bear.
Yeah, I will ask. Keep asking the question.
Yep. So this Meshery UI is basically a front end project. So I see OC is also interested to front end. So OC, if you want to participate in this Meshery UI refactoring, you are welcome to add a name of any component you would like to work and start working on that component. The branch is available on the Meshery repo itself. Its name is Meshery UI refactoring branch. So you can make a PR against that only. Yep. So do we have any more questions about Meshery UI refactoring and other stuff?
That's a little question for me. That you mentioned that the Docker extension uses UI, which uses MUI 5. Where can I find the code for that? I'm not able.
It's I'll bring it up. So in the Meshery repo, under install, there's 3 or 4 folders there's the Kubernetes manifests. What is this? It's a little bit confusing. This is the Docker file for Meshery itself. Anyway, this is the folder that contains everything for the extension, the Docker extension. So within here is a set of 1 or more containers. In here is its own app. Basically, the Docker extension is its own separate component. it's a SPA, a single page app that uses Docker's theme. A screenshot of it. It looks a little different than this in its current form, but it isn't too far away from this. And so yeah, it is. Boom! It's here.
I will post it.
Okay.
Okay, so we are end of the topic. So any more discussions or anything? We have still 15 minutes left.
Yeah, so I ran into a problem yesterday while I was installing Meshery into my system. I use Scoop Manager, and I installed it for Windows. And I ran into a problem where I go to localhost and it says this site can't be reached. It says it's deployed. Meshery is deployed on Kubernetes, and Meshery is starting, and then opening Meshery, and then your localhost URL in browser, and then when I go to the browser, it's broken. Nothing's coming. So what might be the problem?
You want to share your screen real quick?
Sure. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so this is what's happening. And then I run this command. It says starting Meshery, deployed and starting. Then when you go to this localhost, it says
yeah. I get it. If you do, if you just take a look at your Kubernetes services, so you do a kubectl get svc hyphen, or you filter on the namespace of Meshery. So be it. Yeah, nice. And so it'd be really close. So it's kubectl space get space. Nice. And then -n for namespace. Or sorry, where you have the hyphen by Meshery, you'll end up putting an n. Instead of saying -Meshery, say -n. Yeah, nice. And which stands for namespace. And then so that means the namespace that we want to filter on is the Meshery namespace. So you'll type Meshery there. Nice. And that's it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, the thing that we want to look for is the very first one. It's the name is Meshery. The type of networking is load balancer. So our issue here is that the Kubernetes cluster that you're running in its current configuration doesn't support networking of type load balancer.
Okay.
So by the way, so OC, by the way, this is what I mean by like, hey, just go be a user for a while. Like, there's excellent things to learn around DevOps just by trying to use this stuff.
Yeah.
And so Rohit.
Yeah, totally correct.
And so Rohit, you say the way that you're responding makes it sound like you're aware that your cluster doesn't support load balancer networking.
Yeah. So yeah, I found out the mistake. So I'm gonna correct that. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna correct that. That was my problem. So if I do that, will it be working? Will it be working?
Yeah. The rest of there'll be one other thing. Yeah, it's affecting two services. The first one is the Meshery service. The second one is the broker, which is also using load balancer. And so the solution that you end up using there would most likely fix both of them. And your Meshery deployment is healthy other than that.
So how do I search? So I'm new to this, so I have to Google stuff, right? So how do I search in Google? Like what What terms?
First, I would start with the Meshery docs because
Okay.
you're not the first user who's run into this.
Okay.
Like, what kind of Kubernetes cluster are you running?
kubectl.
Okay, nice. And then did you end up using like Minikube?
Minikube, yeah. Minikube.
So there's docs on Minikube in the Meshery docs that will surely help.
Okay.
I'm curious right now if I don't remember if we got this command into Meshery CTL. Can you do me a favor and type Meshery CTL space, and I guess it should be system space dashboard. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah. Dash. UA.
Okay, good. So we did get this command in.
Yeah.
I believe if you open another command prompt, like a new tab or a different window, okay, good.
Something.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
it's the same problem. Yeah.
So if you go in here, if you run that same kubectl command, kubectl get svc -n for namespace, Meshery. Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting. You might want to ask in when the discuss forum comes back online, but either there or in Slack about the dashboard command, because it will help circumvent some of the networking. It would establish a port forward from your local machine into the Kubernetes cluster to help expose the Meshery UI.
Got it. Yes.
So, but yeah, okay. And so that's a good thing to follow up on. But outside of that, yeah, you'll probably end up wanting to use something like Metal LB for your Minikube deployment. Metal LB is a Minikube add-on.
What is it? Can you repeat it?
Yeah, it's metal, like steel and iron, like that kind of metal. And then it's LB for load balancer. And so it's a Minikube add-on, and it allows you to. It's a I guess it's a Docker's. I'm sorry, a Kubernetes CNI maybe. Anyway, it's a Kubernetes plugin to let your cluster do different style networking. It will assist with Minikube doesn't support load balancing, but if you add in that Metal LB, then it will support.
Okay, got it.
Cool. If you don't find that there's reference to Metal LB in the Meshery docs for Minikube, then I expect that you'll raise one to help add in that note. It would be a good note to have.
Sure.
Nice. And if I find that you didn't raise one,
okay,
we're gonna have words.
Cool. So if I don't find the documentation for Metal LB in our Meshery documentation, so I have to raise it.
Please, yeah, I think that'd be really good because you know there's going to be many that follow in your footsteps and will stumble on stub their toe on the same thing.
Yes,
so.
Yes. Good. I look into it.
Nice.
That's it for me.
It's a great set of questions, by the way, Rohit. I totally get why your toe is big and fat. Like it's like such a so many people have bumped into the same thing. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, thank you very much, Rohit, for asking question, and it might also cleared out for few other folks. So if you ran into any other problems, or you can ask in Slack.
Sure.
Okay, so I guess we are having 8 more minutes. So, and we are done with our topics. So, and we don't have any more topics. So let's wrap this call, I think.
Yeah, man, I have just one quick note for Cedric. It's like, Cedric, sometimes when I see your name, especially when it's early in the morning like this, it's like, it's your first name, then we've got your middle name, your last name. Your middle name and your last name, man, if you're looking with blurry eyes, it almost looks like service mesh. I swear I look up and I'm like, oh, in GWA service mesh. I'm like, oh man, that has got to be the coolest name. And then I realized like, oh, it's almost really cool. It's just Cedric, not service mesh.
Highly, that's really interesting. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, Cedric is my middle name. My full name is actually Ngwa Cedric Me. So I just affix and append the other letters.
Oh, got you. Yeah. So by the way,
Yeah.
your first name, you enunciated Ngwa.
Yes, Ngwa.
Ngwa. Nice. All right.
Yeah, that's the exact pronunciation. Wow, that's great.
Oh man, beginner's luck. I'm gonna have to practice that. Ngwa. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Sometimes you see a name and it's like it just looks like your tongue will get tied and you're just too afraid to even try it. But yours, if you're just brave enough, it comes off your tongue. It's good. Nobody ever asked me how to pronounce my name. I'm a little bit, I feel a little bit left out.
I just see Lee and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we all call you Lee, right? It is that simple.
Yeah. Sometimes people expect to see, like a little 4'5" Asian guy, kind of eyes, they're sort of slanty like this. And then like, oh, some pale skinned, freckle faced, redheaded, 6 foot, tall, fat ass. And I go, okay, yeah, that's not the Lee that they were thinking of. But yeah, anyway, they always enunciate my name right. Say it again.
Do help us out though, please. How do we pronounce your name?
Yeah, nice. Actually, so Cedric, you were asking about, my last name, you mean? Or
yes.
Someone else? Oh yeah, it's I did get asked that over the weekend. And it's Cal, like California, and then coat, like a coat. So Cal Coat. It could have been more fancy, like a Calcati, Calcoti, something, but just Cal Coat.
I thought it sounded more like French, who say Cal Cote.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah. There's tons of people that would. Yeah, that's probably the most intelligent. Some people know that I'm into martial arts. Yeah, they call me Karate Calcati. That was more like when I was in high school, but I've heard it every way possible. There's only one way for Lee, though. It's like, hey. Okay. Nice to see you all. Good. So we've got another meeting on Wednesday for Meshery. And it's once every other week that we have it for the Meshery build and release, which we spend more time on GitHub workflows, that kind of a thing. Yeah, go get busy. Go get, I know Rohith will have a PR up on Metal LB soon. So, see you guys all on the next one, I suppose. Is that about right, Gaurav?
Yep. So I've shared a link to the calendar. You all can
just do ...
You all can press this big fat yellow button to get all the notifications to your calendar about all the meetings. So thank you everyone for joining. We'll meet you for the website call next week, same time.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
Bye, everyone.